In today's show, Tex chats about the rejuvenation of the club's playing list.
We've got experience, we've been in their shoes before, so to be able to express what we've been able to do back then is super important.
We catch up with a couple of the latest debutants and travel with the team during last week's day trip to Brisbane. Hi everyone and welcome to the Optus Crows Show. I'm Mark Bickley. Former skipper Taylor Walker is just 6 matches away from reaching a 200-game milestone. But the personal achievement couldn't be further from his mind, with the dedicated clubman focused on developing and mentoring the next generation of talent. We caught up with Tex to see what excites him about the new faces on the Crows list.
Weaves his way nicely through them. Hamill, good 360 turn, gave it back to Smith. Long launch looks good for him, but can't get there. It beats them all home. Brilliant.
Clearly, as a footy club, we're rejuvenating the list, and it's been awesome to watch.
Collects it, time to survey, heads long, goal square. Could have let it go, but he took the mark for Hampton.
We've got experience, we've been in their shoes before, so to be able to express what we've been able to do back then is super important, and we've got a great coaching group as well to be able to assist in their development. I think what we like about Shane is his ability to jump at the football, but his ability to just get after people. He's got an unbelievable football brain. He reads the game really well, and hopefully we can drag a little bit of that out of him a little bit more as he plays more game.
Big buck up, and the riser is McAdam.
We've seen Will Hamill come in, which is exciting for our fans. He's just going to be a player that takes the game on.
Hamill takes them on, spears his way down the spine.
Chase Jones continually goes to another level. He's just a sponge, absorbs information, and wants to get better every day.
He's got Nelson there. Jones has got Nelson. Jones has got Nelson. That is a wonderful tackle.
Saw Andrew McPherson on the weekend. He's going to be a clone of Luke Brown. Locked down, won't get beaten, and will attack off halfback as well. So there's some young guys that we've been able to see. Certainly for me, it's been very exciting, and it's awesome to see when kids train things during the week and try things, to see it replicated in games. Obviously we're not getting the results in terms of win-loss, but we're starting to see some real improvements as a footy club.
The Crows welcomed their 8th debutant last week, with Andrew McPherson selected to play in his first AFL game against West Coast. It was a huge accomplishment for the South Australian, who has been hampered by injuries since he was drafted to the club 3 years ago. We spoke to Macca about how he overcame the obstacles to finally achieve his AFL dream.
McPherson, they picked 40 back in 2017.
It's been a pretty crazy journey so far, a bit of a roller coaster.
The journey for Andrew has been really unusual. He arrived at the club 3 years ago. He'd been continually injured really from the age of 15. When we profiled him and we looked at where Andrew was at, we knew it was going to take at least 18 months or so to get him to the level to be ready to play AFL football, but there was clear indication that his level of talent really warranted that investment.
Waterman laid on into trouble, gone. Great tackle from McPherson. McPherson has had a pretty good first game.
For me, the highest form of character is your ability to deal with adversity and how you get through that with the same perspective and positivity on life. And I vividly remember a Saturday morning rehab session, 7 o'clock start, Dunk Callaway, me and you. I'm pretty sick of rehab by this stage. I get in there, you've done 2 years of it, I'm just in my first year. Walk in there, you're just sitting there smiling, talking to Dunk, positive as always. Instantly changed my mindset.
Definitely learnt plenty about resilience and also just really found a passion for the game. I had a real reason why I wanted to rock up every day. I knew that I loved the game and I knew where I wanted to get to. So I think, yeah, I wouldn't have got much out of coming into the club with my head down and sort of burying my head in the sand and distancing myself from everyone. So I thought, how can I still come to the club and benefit myself, but also benefit others?
He's had a really unusual strength and injury prevention program that's been tailored sort of around his specific needs, and that's been incredibly demanding. He would spend at least 2 or 2.5 hours extra in the gym compared to every other player over that period of time to get his body right.
We've got a pretty set program in place now where I've got a fair few exercises that I need to get done. But yeah, as I say, you learn over time that if that's what it's going to take to play footy and play AFL footy, then yeah, it's well worth it. Perspective, I think, was one thing that played a big role. Being able to sort of step outside my own situation a bit and think that if the worst thing happening in my life was an injury here or there, that I could relate that to things elsewhere that probably weren't as good.
One of the nicest things to see in Andrew's development has been the trust he's now got in his own body. Seeing a player develop that level of confidence really sets them up well for the future too. They understand their body better, they understand what they can push through and should push through, and we're certainly seeing Andrew get to that point now.
Sort of just the start, and the hard work really starts now, so it's not getting lazy and complacent with a lot of that stuff that we've spoken about as far as the injury prevention and all of that. So yeah, improving in any way I can, whether that be with my body, with my footy, with my leadership, just doing all the little things.
I'm really proud of you, this whole group's proud of you, and really looking forward to seeing what you bring, mate, because this is going to be the start of a big career, so come get it.
There's more to come on the Crows Show, and after the break, Tom Lynch reflects on his time at St Kilda before being drafted by the Crows.
Been here a couple of weeks now, staying with Paddy Dangerfield, which has been really good.
Welcome back to the Optus Crows Show. I'm Alana Smith. When Jack Gunston departed the club in 2011, the Crows were on the hunt for a new star to join their forward line. And that player was a young man named Tom Lynch, who joined Adelaide from St Kilda as part of a three-way trade. Lynch managed just 6 games for the Saints, but he's now on track to play his 150th match in Crows colours. Thanks to Toyota, we're taking a look back at the deal that brought the Chief to West Lakes.
I was obviously fortunate enough to get drafted back in the 08 draft, and I was a local boy. Didn't live too far away from Moorabbin, so you know, obviously one, just stoked to get drafted, and yeah, and two, obviously to the team I supported growing up. But yeah, it was obviously a really good experience, and I had 3 years there and learned a hell of a lot.
I was in the trade period back in 2011, and Tom had been a first-round draft pick for St Kilda, but hadn't been given much opportunity. And our recruiting guys, Hamish Ogilvie and those guys, really liked Tom as a player.
We know that Tom's a talented young man. He's seeking opportunity, and it's great to have you know, a guy who wants to come to our footy club from that side of things. So his capacity to play at both ends, we know that he's got a good tank. His endurance is terrific. Good decision maker.
He was interested in getting more of a go. You know, he was at a pretty strong side at that stage in St Kilda, and he just wanted to play like everybody who wants to play, and so the fact that we were able to suggest that he would get a start in our side was probably the thing that got him over the line.
I had a year to go on my contract at St Kilda, and but as I said, looking for opportunity. Knew Patrick Dangerfield, Rory Sloan, Sean McKernan, and a couple of guys that obviously played over here. Had a good relationship with Hamish Ogilvie at the time, and just basically wanted to come over and see what it was all about, and you know, fell in love with the place, and have really enjoyed being here. So as much as I was grateful for my opportunities in Kilda, I do feel like I've been a one-club player, and this is certainly home.
Ivan Maric wanted to go to Richmond, and he got there thanks to a three-way deal. The Tigers sent pick 37 to the Saints, and young forward Tom Lynch ended up at West Lakes.
Ivan was looking for more opportunity as well, because Sam Jacobs had just come in with us. So therefore, you know, we were happy. Ivan was a great player for us, good person for us, and so being able to put the three into one was a good way of doing it. And it got Ivan where he wanted to go, it got Tom where he wanted to go, and St Kilda got some compensation as well.
The journey, I feel, has been one that I've, you know, never ever regret. It's been the best thing ever for me, and you know, I've got 3 South Australian kids now that, so we're kind of outnumbered a little bit in terms of Victorians, my wife and I, but you know, we've loved being over here.
Well, the only place you can find all of the official Crows news is at afc.com.au. Stay connected with the club via their social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And if you're hungry for more footy stories, make sure you're following at The Crows Show on Twitter. 2 years ago, the likes of Modra, Rashuto and Bickley took centre stage at Adelaide Oval, but they weren't the faces you might be familiar with. The Crows' Next Generation Academy organised a unique matchday experience for the sons and daughters of past players, as their proud dads watched on from the sidelines. Today, we're revisiting the special occasion thanks to Bendigo Bank. It's hard to know who enjoyed the day more, the children or their proud dads.
It's absolutely magnificent. I mean, my little bloke, for one, has been going on about it for the last couple of weeks. When is it? How long is it? What are we doing? And finally it's arrived. So it's a great initiative that the footy club are doing.
Some of the names read like a who's who of club legends: Micken, Rashuto, Jamison, Bickley, Robran, Modra.
Originally it was fathers v sons and daughters, and the old boys were going to walk out and have a game. It's now, because I think there's so many kids playing, it's a kids game of footy on Adelaide Oval. I mean, to be able to play on the hallowed turf of Adelaide Oval is such a great thrill for them.
The sons and daughters, little ones and teenagers, played two 20-minute halves. For Eddie Betts, it was a chance to see his boys at close quarters.
Louis has been teasing me at home, so I got me covered. So I said, mate, listen, all right, I'm going to join in. I'm going to show you how it's done. I'm going to teach you the ropes, buddy. Don't run past me because I'll clean you up. Let all the other guys run for you. You watch Dad. You stay in the pocket, you'll get the ball, you'll kick the goal. Stay here, stay here and here. Trust me.
Before the game, 3-year-old Billy didn't want to miss out.
We got into roughs in here. What's wrong?
Oh, the blue ball.
Okay, well, you go get a blue ball and I'll get it for you. See there? Go get it, run.
Eddie spoke for all the families.
It's great to have all the kids down here, boys and girls, to play this wonderful game, and it's all about having fun and enjoying it.
After their game, the children stayed for the big clash against the Eagles, a day to remember and no doubt the first of many.
To do it once a year, twice a year, keep that connection, I think is really important. I mean, that's what builds footy clubs.
Coming up, we catch up with another promising Crows debutant.
With the Crows focused on rejuvenating their list, new recruits have the perfect opportunity to prove they're worthy of a spot in the senior side. One player who certainly has impressed is Shane McAdam. Shane made his debut in round 4 after just 1 year in the club's sample side. McAdam was initially selected as a mature pre-draft access pick by Carlton before joining the Crows. And the move to West Lakes seems to have suited the 25-year-old, who is showing plenty of promise in the club's forward line.
This year's been great actually. I've enjoyed it that much better. Last year was more of an eye opener for me to see what it's like to be in an AFL system. And this year, yeah, I feel like I know what it's like to be an AFL player now, or in the AFL system. So I really enjoyed this year. I was speaking to the coaches quite a lot during the pre-season, especially when the season was coming up during round 1, and I was always around the mark during round 1, but a lot of players were. Everyone was fit and firing, ready to go. Everyone wants to make the round 1 team. So I was always around the mark, and the coaches were just telling me to keep doing what I'm doing, can't do anything more. And when Nixie told me that I was debuting, yeah, I was over the moon. It sort of didn't sink in until probably later that night, or even probably the day of the game, where I had to walk around and have a look at the stadium when I was at the Gabba. So it was just an unreal feeling. It took a while to sink in, but when it did, yeah, it was overwhelming. This year I've learned to prepare myself and recover more, and prepare myself to back it up each day training, because training's hard. not the one day is hard, the next day hard, so you got to learn to back it up. I think I've learned to back it up and learn to get my body right in recovery, physio, massage, so I learned to get everything right off field to allow myself to come to training every day and perform. A couple of games under my belt now, I feel like I'm getting the confidence, and then I just get my coaches or the coaches and even the teammates just telling me to play my game and do what I do best. So it's given me confidence to go out there and try and perform each week.
It's been great to see the playing group embrace the debutants this season. Thanks to Flight Centre, let's fly around social media to see what the players have shared with their followers. The coronavirus pandemic has forced the AFL to create strict protocols for travelling teams, limiting the amount of time a club can spend interstate. Last weekend, the Crows departed for their clash against Brisbane on Saturday morning, before returning to Adelaide straight after the clash. The Optus Crows Show joined the players on their whirlwind matchday journey.
You don't, by choice, want to fly in and fly out to a game of AFL footy on the same day, but obviously under the circumstances that's something we had to confront on the weekend. So it was an early rise for a 8:30 a.m. depart to Brisbane Airport. We had planned on being there 3 hours prior to bounce down, and we were able to achieve that. Whether it was meals or whether it was the travel itself, I think there was a little bit of anxiety leading into it because it's just something that we haven't experienced previously. It was a long day, but we're back here by 10:15 that night, so it was a unique experience for each of the players and the staff.
Delightful ball movement from the Crows.
You always go into days like that a little bit nervous that something might not go to plan, whether it's a delay at the airport or a bus not turning up on time or what have you, but everything worked out really well. The feedback from the players on the way home was really positive, so that they found that the day had rolled out pretty well. They felt like they were still able to perform at their best, so which is pleasing because it's a long flight. Whilst we anticipate we'll have a number of home games now at Adelaide Oval, the Queensland government is stipulating that you need to fly in and out of the state on the day of the game, so we'd be anticipating that any interstate games would include travelling on the day of the game.
Coming up, it's time for Crows coach Matthew Nicks to answer a question from a fan.
Well, it's been another huge week on the training track as the Crows prepare to play in just their second home match of the season. Thanks to Optus, we've scrolled through social media to see what footy fans have been sharing on social media.
No matter the result, there's always an excuse for a cheeky beverage. Some fans were impressed by the efforts of Brodie Smith and Will Hamill against West Coast. While others can't wait for the club's next clash against St Kilda.
Every week on the Optus Crows Show, senior coach Matthew Nicks answers a question from a fan, thanks to Thomas Farms. This week's question is from Darren, who wants to know if draftee Harry Schoenberg is close to being selected for his first AFL game.
Yeah, Harry Schoenberg progressing really well. Unfortunately, we don't play every week in a practice match. So last weekend Harry wasn't able to play, but what he had done is he's strung a couple of really strong games together. He's an inside mid. We'd like to think that he becomes a hybrid mid as he matures, but we're seeing some great stuff. He's a natural footballer. He uses the ball really well and explodes out of stoppage. So look forward to hopefully seeing him at some point in the near future.
Thanks for joining us today. I do hope you enjoyed the show. And remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest Crows news on afc.com.au and by following the club on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to cheer on the Crows as they return to Adelaide Oval tomorrow night. You can catch all the action right here on Channel 7. We'll see you again next weekend. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and bye for now.